Hi guys, this is Nick with the Boncho Boys. I'm here in the losers bracket of our Boncho Boys BT14 feature tournament. We've got some gameplay coming up between Loogamon and BloomLordmon. I'll be piloting the BloomLordmon in this video and giving some commentary on it.
Hey, this is Ethan with the Boncho Boys. I'll be assisting with commentary. So let's get right into it.
So, coming into this, I did not expect as BloomLord to run into Loogamon, especially in the losers bracket. I was hoping I could avoid this. I was not excited to hear I would be fighting Mitchell's Loogamon.
Yeah, this seems like a tough matchup for Bloom, just with the ability for Luga to OTK, but also, a fair amount of removal to deal with Bloom's boards.
Exactly. It has really, really constructive ways to delete my Digimon while swinging in and getting rid of another body. So it's exactly what it needs to get rid of, a two-body BloomLord combo and stuff like that. And I was trying to lean further into the Mimi Togemon aspect of the new cards that we got. And I was hoping they would give me some sort of an edge where I could have a bigger burst turn.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah,
And
I think with the new Ace card here, that's actually probably running into a bit of a almost like a drawback with it. Where he can just very easily blow that up with the Fenrir. So kind of some of the new engine pieces maybe backfiring a little bit in this particular matchup. Also,
yeah,
in the Loogamon side, we can see he had Defex in his opening hand here in Game 1. And I'm sure that's nice to see when you know you're playing Bloom.
yeah, I obviously did not see it, and he didn't reveal it on any of this search. It wasn't revealed on that analog youth prior, so I was totally unaware he was running it. So I'm just gonna play casual Bloom, thinking of what Loogamon things can do. I was fortunate enough to grab a Mimi after going to Togemon and Raising, but I keep running into the same issue where I can explain like the exact issues with the Togemon Mimi combo, but I'll talk about that later.
Okay.
For now, Mitch he's going to that Loogamon, gets free memory and a free tamer because at the end of the turn he'll be able to break that mind link. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. That's a lot of value from a rookie at start of main phase, huh?
Yeah, the power that Loogamon brings to the deck is hard to understate. And then the other thing that I think is really crazy here, and we're actually seeing kind of all the real big heavy hitter pieces of Loogamon in his hand or trash, where he has the analog youth to work with the Hell Loogamon to regain turn when he blows himself up. He has the Loogamon for the tamer setup. He has the Soul Loogamon to go up the line into the Fenrir right here on that egg effect after he trashes it. So basically, a lot of different combo options, and looks like he has access to just about all of them at this point.
Yeah, he had such an early burst combo here. I was like, oh, well, I played this Patamon knowing I needed an extra body to pop off appropriately. And I'm like, this Patamon is not going to survive. But because he decides to just go into the soul and it actually passes turn because I end up at 3 or more memory, I was like, oh, Patamon survived? That's kind of crazy. That's amazing. I might stand a chance now just because of its start of main phase, which I'm immediately going to be bumping that Palmon to 4 because its inherited is fantastic of reducing the Digivolution cost if you have a green tamer. And the start of main, I tag that Fenrir and I say when it's suspended, you're going to lose 2 memory. So that could be on the following turn, which, I mean, that's no good because if he swings at 1 memory, then he still retains turn because Fenrir doesn't pass turn until it's at 3 or more. But more importantly, I'm going to be able to kind of interact with it and do more costly plays for cheaper. Like this Lily Ace, I can manually suspend it if I want, and that Lily Ace only costs 2. So if I just need to set up a target, a Lily Ace, it's a level 5 body, that's also just Flower Cannon.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. I hadn't thought about that Flower Cannon on legs, so yeah, that is pretty nice.
Yeah, I think the original idea is that you would bring Palmon out of raising, tag something, and then just Digivolve straight up to level 5. And if you do it with the Sunplow, you know, you can essentially go into Lily Ace gaining a memory. It's pretty wild how much you can get back. And here I'm just trying to multiply and multiply and multiply the board before I go to Bloom and try to get some big damage in.
Yeah, you got quite a lot of board here. Unfortunately, we do know there's that deck sitting there in hand, waiting to throw it down. But
again, I did not know. But also, I had a little bit of missequence. I could have just dropped Lily Ace there for essentially 2, suspending Loogamon, and then I would Digivolve for 3 and gain back 5. Well, actually, I didn't have a way to suspend the Sunplow, so that's why I was like, okay, well, I'll have all my bodies suspended. And then this time I'll just Digivolve into it for 3, suspend that, gain 2 back, and now I'm swinging Piercing 16k, 3 checks. I'm very pleased with this. But again, I have this big issue where he's got Death X in hand, and I've got this Lily Ace on the board, and I'm like, it's gonna get Digivolved. So my solution is, let's just go Hydra, suspend. He forgot to do that, but we're gonna just bring that memory back. I'm gonna go to Hydra, suspend something, gain 3 back. Still my turn, just get a little more value, piece by piece. I was able to get this massive burst turn off a Mimi, a training, and 3 memory. Plus the Palmon. I mean, when it really stacks up for Bloom, the burst is massive, it feels like.
yeah, and in fact, you know, even they're generating 2 level 6s onto the board. And if I recall, you started turn with a 3, and you were at level 4 and raising, right? So yeah, and then ending up with actually a 6 and a 7 now, without, you know, no HPD, no anything. So yeah, you can see how the memory gain from the Palmon there was huge.
Right. I'm also looking at it like, well, he doesn't technically have anything in raising. I'm gonna grab this Pomumon so he can't play anything else by effect later on down the line. I was really happy with how this panned out, because I was like, okay, I might actually, you know, stand a chance, which I really didn't expect to, but the burst damage came in really nicely, and then I'm looking at my hand afterward, and I'm like, this is a bad hand. This is a pretty terrible hand.
Yeah.
I need to, like, suspend my Sunflower, gain a memory from Mimi, go into Agitar with my boost or something, if I want to stay on this board. I was looking at this Evo into Hell Loogamon, and I was like, does this even do anything right now? I mean, he's only got so many cards in hand. And then the Death Exit, and I was like, okay, this does too much. This does too much. I've made a mistake. I did not expect Death X.
Oh yeah, then he's blowing himself up there.
Yep.
Wow.
End of turn, he blows up.
Yep.
So this was one thing that we made a mistake on. He has to trash, I think it's Dark Animal or some of the Chaos cards. So he actually had to get rid of either the Dracmon or like the level 4 or 5 if he wanted to keep Loogamon. So that was just a minor thing that we missed, but I pointed out later. It was just, it's like one of those small text things that you don't notice. And here I'm literally just, you know, swinging in Bloom. I'm like, I don't even really want to play a rookie to keep Bloom. I just need to set something else up, because if I play a Searcher Pal and keep Bloom while he's suspended, I had to get rid of bodies. Nothing feels too constructive. I don't have Quartz. I only have 1 more in the list. It was just a little messy. And I was like, just give up the Bloom. He's useless on his own. I wish he'd gone down to Agitar.
Yeah, and you're kind of in a rough spot here with the Death X on the board as well.
Yeah, I've got to figure out a way to get rid of it. I'm just looking at Boost, Mimi, Agitar, Hydra, get rid of it, but even then, he's got something in Raising, and looking at the training, the analog youth, the IG he's already got in play, I'm like, this is bad. This is... it sucks because he actually passed me 4 when he played that Death X, but the Hell Loogamon was able to blow up the Lily Ace, and then the Overflow set me to 1, so it was even harder for me to, crawl back after that Death X turn.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'm looking at the specifics of everything. So I think this is a decent time for me to mention the issues I had with my 3 Togemon 4 BT14 Mimi build. First of all, Bloom is a super Digimon-centered deck. It's one of those decks where you have 9 level 5s, which is almost unheard of in other decks, except like Wargray, where you want to slide or something like that.
Yeah, Melga, I guess also, but yeah, like you said, that's a pretty high count without slides.
And so it does not combo correctly with Agitar, which is by far the best level 5 for Blue. If you promote Togemon and you suspend it to spit out Mimi, you can't, and you go to Agitar, you're already suspended, so you can't, do Agitar on its own. You need another body. Furthermore, if you use Agitar from Raising and you spit out Togemon, if you suspend Togemon and play Mimi, if you go to BloomLord, both of your bodies are already suspended, so you get neither the Agitar Inherited or the Mimi your turn effect, meaning you have to spend the full cost of 2 or 4 and then gain 2, or hopefully reduce it with an Inherited, so it costs 3 and then you gain 2. But it doesn't really make a lot of sense how you need an extra body if you want to play Togemon. It's a little counterproductive. I actually found it worked better with Hydra. Hydramon, you can do the Agitar effect, spit out Togemon, and then when you go to Hydra for 5, you'll suspend your opponent. This will proc Hydra's gain of memory. It'll proc Mimi's gain of memory, so it costs 3. And then if you had any reduction, it could cost 2 or 1 to go into Hydramon, which is even better.
Yeah, that could maybe be an interesting option in the future once Quantummon is available as well, since it's kind of another Hydramon type card.
Exactly. I don't know when we're getting Quantummon, but the sooner the better for Bloom. It's very much needed. Here he's able to do the Hell Loogamon end of turn and on deletion, and I was pointing out, oh, you've actually got to get rid of Sons of Chaos. So we did correct it that time, but I don't think it actually made a difference between any of the turn sequencing. And I mean, just kind of stalling a little bit on his end, getting rid of a Hydramon with an end of turn Digivolution into level 5. It's pretty wild, especially when it cycles this deck as well.
Yeah, the fact that, and here I don't think, at least if I'm recalling correctly, I don't think he's actually maintained a turn at all with Hell Loogamon yet, but using the analog youth. But that is absolutely absurd when you can pull that off. Yeah, because I've played some games against Loogamon, not with Bloom, but just in general. And when they can move out, you got whatever you've got on the board. You're even all the way up at 6, like we saw here with the Hydramon. They can just move that out, pass turn, let it blow up, get some draw, suspend the analog, reset their raising, and then if they were able to gain enough memory off the analogs to maintain turn, then they start going up again and raising and prepping for the next turn. So they're basically resetting the game state, but also resetting their raising, so they're not really paying the cost of having to move out and do that. yeah, it's just a pretty absurd power play that the deck has access to.
Right.
And like you said, only at level 5. It kind of makes me think of, I mean, not the same type of effect at all, but it makes me think of like, you know, BT9, BT10 Melga, where they were so strong at level 5 in comparison to most decks, which had to go all the way up to 6 to really do anything super significant, which just put them in the game at an earlier point than most decks could be. And that's what I feel like is one of the big things that you know, Loogamon has going for it. Like everybody thinks about the OTK or the Finri Loogamon allowing them to extend turn past you know, one memory on the opponent's side. But I really think the Hell Loogamon board control is one of the huge things for the deck.
Yeah.
And if you go ahead, sorry.
You were talking about, you know, level 5s that do so much. You know, now I think of Metal Greymon, raid with the X option, go to level 6. I mean,
yeah,
you have to spend 5 or 4 to do that X antibody Digivolution, and without protection, Hell Loogamon, you just, you know, you can pass turn Digivolving into it, and just remove something as big as that costs that much. It's pretty wild how defensive it forces you to play, you know, because I'm like, it's a Hydramon, it should stick, and it's like, it just will not.
Yeah, and some of the other things that, you know, like, there's the play where you move out a Raising and you go into it, and then there's the play where, you know, you've got the kind of Finri Loogamon, spawn out a bunch of bodies, go for game kind of thing. But if you fail to go for game off the Finri Loogamon, then you have a bunch of forests sitting on board, which means that you then have the fallback of just going into Soul Loogamon on one of those bodies and just blowing something up, either on that turn or maybe even on a subsequent turn, like
Right.
we actually did earlier in this game. So I think there's a deceptive amount of depth to this deck and kind of options that it has at its disposal. It's not just an OTK or die deck, despite maybe that being a little bit how it looked in some earlier gameplay videos I've seen online.
Yeah, and you're talking about OTKs there, and I had one security. I was looking at the memory like, man, I've really got to be careful with how much I give him. I don't think I can die. And he was able to sneak in that kill there with the on-swing evolution, retain turn from all the inheriteds, and then Black Automon with rush for game. He only went into Fenrir once that whole time.
Yep. Yeah, and then the Black Automon is really cheeky, really cheeky card, like you said. You know, just kind of stealing games out of nowhere with the free dropping a something with rush is always scary. So yeah.
Yeah, because
the eggs, yeah, like they're getting a lot stronger eggs now. You know, they used to just be, oh, you gain 1k DP or you get a draw, but now we're seeing some pretty interesting effects starting to come out there.
So interestingly enough, when I was reading Fenrir, I'm like, okay, I don't want to have a board against this thing because it has to delete something to unsuspend. And that means, you know, he can be kind of cut off on what he can do. But if he just plays out Black Automon, why does he care? You know, he gets so much damage out with one chip. If he does the single unsuspend with Alliance, and the second Alliance attack, that's 4. And then with one chip, he's got game off the Black Automon.
Yep, and if he happens to see multiple, you know, that card is at 4, so if he has multiple, he can potentially, you know, spawn out even 2 Black Automon, depending on what else he has on board. You know, you could even swing a couple of them if that ends up being possible. So yeah, I don't know.
That's not a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I'll just move out of Raising and then drop some rush bodies and swing past. So,
yeah, I don't need to unsuspend at all. Here I was really struggling. I was like, oh man, do I move out of Raising and BloomLord combo for 0 off the specific Sunplow there? I'm gonna do it just because I need some tempo in Raising. And then I drew Togemon, and I was like, Okay, so I'm still gonna do the Bloom combo, but I'll draw from Coco, and I'll still draw from Bloom on that Evo. Maybe I see something. And if I remember correctly, I just don't. I've got that reduced Evo, so I'm actually gaining a memory, and then lo and behold, I'm drawing the new tamer that I had at 4 that, again, I just wish I played more bodies. If I just played more rookies or something, I wouldn't have to play this, and I would have a rookie in Raising. And it's the next reveal as a Palmon. Meanwhile, I'm staring down, you know, a Loogamon that I couldn't interact with. I was also missing Lily Ace. I was hoping I could just, slam her down for 4. She can't be de-digivolved and popped by a Death X, so she's not bad at all. And now with double training and Loogamon getting value and this Fangmon going in, I was like, I don't see a world I come back from a turn off against this much tempo.
Yep. Yeah, Loogamon has a relatively shallow line, which normally would be kind of a bad thing, but it ends up working a bit to the advantage of the deck because they're able to run, a lot of training, a lot of min boost. I think both purple and mist min boost, so quite a lot of setup possible there. And when you're looking at what is it? Yeah, four memory off of evolutions on board. Yeah, it's just he's going to go all the way up, and he's going to clear whatever you got out there. And like you said, with no Raising to kind of come back from, there's really not a lot that you can do here. We even see the Death in hand again there. If you had been able to spawn out a board, he had that to go into as well. So that's just it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I asked him afterward during the game. I was like, oh, why are you even running Death X? I mean, you just go past everything. And he's like, I need it for any sort of mirror. First of all, because I mean, there was that moment where I passed turn, or he passed turn to me because it just costs too much to go to Fenrir. He needs it not only for that, but for D-Brigade. He can't get past D-Brigade at all without Death X.
That makes sense.
I was thinking, well, you're never going to Digivolve for 6 on it. So I'm just thinking of the matchups where it helps, and he said, yeah, Bloom wasn't actually like a concerning matchup of mine, but you kind of just got caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, that makes sense. On the note of D-Brigade, I think D-Brigade was actually the deck that knocked Loogamon to losers in the first round. So, yeah, that makes sense that he'd be worried about that matchup.
Yep, and here he's got Alliance, so he's got all the DP in the world to get over BloomLord, and then he's also swinging for extra checks. And there's that Black Automon that he can still just get another check. Why not? Next turn, all he needs is one Alliance to break through, and then he's swinging for game. And like I said, I missed a rookie by 1 draw, so there's not a lot I can do, even with 3 memory and a Mimi. I mean, if I play Palmon for 3 and then I go to Sunflower, I can retain turn, I guess. That's another reason I like the new PAL, by the way. It's the only one with an inherited, the only rookie with an inherited, and it's fantastic because it can apply when you go to level 5 or level 6. So you can go to Agitar for 2 or Cherrymon for 0, etc. While Togemon only applies to going to level 6. And here I'm kind of resigned. I mean, even if I had done the Sunflower play, spit out another body, I didn't have a level 5. My hand was, it's all Sunflowers.
All 3 4s pretty much, yeah.
I was like, man, if I'd had a rookie the turn prior, that'd been crazy, because I could have just multiplied the board, but I still would have needed some sort of free Digivolution. I mean, and that's the thing, like, if he swings at security and unsuspends, I could have Lily Ace Blast Digivolve and resuspended Fenrir. Like, there's cool applications for it, and the Palmon and Lily are definitely the best cards I found that Bloom got, but I teched too much into Togemon and Mimi, and I got punished for it. I should have just ran Digimon.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, good games anyway. That looks like a very tough matchup to have to contend with. So, good job doing what you could there. I guess with that though, that is BloomLord's tournament life. So, do you have any final thoughts to wrap things up?
Yeah, it's a shame. There are some cool things for Bloom, but you've got to be careful of what you do and don't run. It's very cool what it can do now, and I wish I could have shown off more of it. That's really all. But thanks everyone for watching. This is Nick of the Banter Boys signing off. Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan here from the Bancho Boys, and we hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.